New information out shows how much President Trump will save people on their taxes. Chris Cuomo and Benny Johnson get into a yelling match during an interview. DNI Tulsi Gabbard removes 37 people's security clearance. And President Trump trolls Democrats and the media by saying he's running for 4 more years. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right in. Chris Cuomo and conservative YouTuber Benny Johnson got into a screaming match over whether Governor Andrew Cuomo had killed a bunch of senior citizens during the COVID lockdowns. Let's go ahead and watch this together because it got pretty out of control.
Well, I don't think we want to talk about overinflated numbers or why some of those numbers, especially in nursing homes, got so high. Well, I don't think we want to go there.
Why do you think they got high in nursing homes? You had old people there.
There was no reason that they should be putting people that were sick with a respiratory virus in nursing homes.
Oh, where would you put them, Benny? Where would you put them?
The single. I mean, this question's not up to me.
Oh, no, Benny, don't fuck around. Listen, hold on. You want to be a black-shirted guy. So where do you put them?
For it.
Oh, really? Because you were going to build facilities during COVID for people.
Didn't they build facilities in New York?
No, they brought a tanker ship. So you wanted to put old people on a tanker ship when their home was the nursing home. The hospitals were told, you can't keep old people here. There's too much risk, which was true. You had to return them to where they went for residences. Where was that? The nursing home. The families, if they could take them, would take them. If there was an alternative, it was there. That's why every state that was told to do this by the federal government did it the same way. You see, Benny, gotcha is a short-sighted strategy.
Was it gotcha?
Q-tip, nursing homes. I get what you do, Benny.
All right, so those two went at it. That interview went on. You'll remember that Governor Andrew Cuomo is accused of killing almost 15,000 senior citizens because he put COVID-sick people in with old people instead of using the Navy medical ship that President Trump had brought in. One of the biggest tax cuts in years is on its way, meaning Americans could see themselves keeping a lot more of their hard-earned money. Remember, Democrats wanted to raise your taxes. President Trump, he's lowering them. The Trump administration's One Big Beautiful Bill Act is now projected to deliver, on average, a tax cut of $3,752 for American taxpayers in 2026. This according to the nonpartisan Tax Foundation report out today. It represents the most significant federal tax overhaul since the 2017 Trump tax cuts. The savings vary depending on states, with Washington State and Wyoming having the biggest cut of nearly $5,400 and Mississippi and West Virginia having the lowest of around $2,400. The average American will save about $2,500 on top of what Trump already saved with the 2017 tax cuts. However, by 2035, those tax cuts will go away, which is why another Republican needs to win. And many of us believe that it's going to be J.D. Vance. At least we hope it will. I would like for somebody to be able to carry forward the MAGA agenda, and I believe that he is the guy to do that. Now, the person running to replace Senator Mitch McConnell, just a piece of crap rhino who has betrayed Donald Trump every step of the way. This guy has come out swinging. He's pro-Trump, pro-America, wants to make America great again. Let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say, because this is a strong candidate.
Well, Griff, you may recall, as we've talked about, I've called for a full moratorium on any new immigration coming into our country until we deport every single one of the 20 million illegals that Joe Biden has let into our country. Griff, we've been invaded, and all these illegals have got to go back. We're absolutely full. And if you look at places like Kentucky, our hospitals, our schools, they're absolutely overrun with these illegals. Our wages are going down for working class Americans, and they can't compete against somebody who's working for 70 cents on the dollar. And then you also have the housing crisis that comes with all the illegal immigration that's happening in our country. We can't get working class families to get the housing needs met because of all these illegals in our country. And just last week, I'm sure you saw this, but there's an estimation of 20 congressional seats that would flip from Democrat to Republican if illegals didn't vote. So we got to get these illegals also out of our census, which is absolutely crazy.
All right. I love it. I love this guy. He's pro-America. He is the exact opposite of Mitch McConnell. I hope Kentucky will wake up and put a strong pro-Trump MAGA candidate in, because that is what we need. We absolutely need that. All right. Now, yesterday, President Trump joked that maybe he would copy Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine and cancel elections in order to stay in power. Democrats and the mainstream media were losing their minds. The news cycle went from Trump is about to end the Russia-Ukraine to, oh my gosh, Trump is a dictator. He's a power-hungry fool that will never give up the presidency. In fact, Donald Trump knew that the media was following him in, so he took Zelensky in to go ahead and look at his 4 more years for Trump hat. And again, the mainstream media had an absolute meltdown. Nobody is better at trolling Democrats and the media than Donald J. Trump. I love it. All right, now, I don't believe he's going to do that. He has already said that he has no plans to run again in 2028. And if J.D. Vance wants it, that will most likely be the person that he will put up. All right, now, Trump's team appears to be continuing its expansion. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has just been named co-deputy director of the FBI by Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. He will work as a co-equal with Dan Bongino. They need somebody with legal experience for everything they are about to do. He's a decorated war veteran and committed Trump supporter. Bailey is known for his high-profile legal work, including a 2024 lawsuit against New York, challenging what he called unconstitutional attacks on the democratic process targeting Donald Trump, and a 2023 Supreme Court brief aimed at halting special counsel Jack Smith from going after President Trump for January 6. Now, he also represented the Gateway Pundit in their First Amendment lawsuit. So this is a guy that understands going to court. This is a guy that understands going up to the Supreme Court. The real question is, why did Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and President Trump want Dan Bongino to have a co-equal and that person to be one of the most experienced litigators in America, an attorney general that had to step down in order to fill the position? I think something big is on the horizon, but I'll let you guys make your own decision. All right, Tulsi Gabbard, DNI Gabbard, has just stripped 37 people of their security clearance. She says being entrusted with a security clearance is a privilege, not a right. Those in the intelligence community who betrayed their oath to the Constitution and put their own interest ahead of the interest of the American people have broken the sacred trust they promised to uphold. In doing so, they undermined our national security, the safety and security of the American people, and the foundational principles of our democratic republic. This is why, at POTUS direction, DNI directed the revocation of the security clearance of 37 current and former intelligence professionals who abused public trust by politicizing and manipulating intelligence, leaking classified intelligence without authorization, and or committing intentional egregious violations of tradecraft standards. Our intelligence community must be committed to upholding the values and principles enshrined in the U.S. Constitution and maintain a laser-like focus on our mission of ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. So 37 people connected to the Russiagate hoax and other leaks and betrayals of our country have had that revoked. I think that that is great, and I'm actually very, very excited about that. All right, popular news outlet Newsmax has agreed to pay Dominion Voting System $67 million to settle a defamation lawsuit where they claimed that Dominion Technology had rigged the 2020 election in favor of Joe Biden. The settlement, disclosed in an SEC filing, calls for an initial $27 million payment due by January of 2027. Now, this judge said that it was false and defamatory. However, Newsmax has not admitted to wrongdoing and said that they believe that they covered the truth in a fair and balanced way. But because of the $787 million lawsuit against Fox News, they've decided to go ahead and end that situation. All right, now I have a lot more to share with you, but first, a word from today's video sponsor. Hey friends, it's Stephen Gardner here, and today I want to tell you about something really exciting. I've just partnered with Monetary Gold, one of the top names in physical gold and silver. Why? Because I believe now more than ever, Americans need real protection. From inflation to market volatility to politicians spending us deeper and deeper into debt. Gold has stood the test of time. It's not just an asset, it's security, it's independence, it's peace of mind. And Monetary Gold makes the process simple, direct, and secure. Here's what I want you to do. Go to StephenLovesGold.com. That's StephenLovesGold.com and claim your free gold IRA guide, or call 800-608-1770 right now to speak with a real specialist who will answer your questions and help you get started. Don't wait. Protect your future with something real. Okay, Pam Bondi has sent out a letter to mayors and governors letting them know that if they do not stop their bad behavior of protecting illegal immigrants, that they will lose funding, that they will have arrests, and that even some of the government leaders could be arrested. The leader over in Boston, she has said, come and get me. I'm going to continue to protect illegal immigrants. Let's go ahead and hear what Pam Bondi had to say, because they're not messing around anymore.
Are they complying? I mean, how is this working?
Some are not. We've already sued New York. We've already sued Illinois. And if they don't comply, we're going to sue them. We're going to take away your federal funding. You're going to have to comply. We're going to send in law enforcement. If you're not going to do your job, we're going to do it for you to keep our citizens safe. Our great men and women in the National Guard are ready to go. They have been working hand in hand with our park services here in D.C. Again, everybody is working so great together. The Metro Police are loving it. The Transit Authority Police, Larry, down in the Metro, they're loving what we're doing because they can actually now arrest people. They have federal officers with them. They're buddied up, and they are making arrests, keeping Americans safe and keeping our capital safe. You know, families want to come here. Today I was looking, and there were so many families out because kids are still on summer vacation. All of our museums are free. The Smithsonian is free. You have our beautiful monuments. You have the zoo, and families deserve to be able to go there. Listen, our law enforcement officers are telling us that people are coming up to them on the street, and they said a lot of people are walking by whispering, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. They're hearing stories every single night and day of people saying that they feel safe now to walk their own neighborhood where they live because of what our great men and women in law enforcement are doing at the directive of the president.
So people in Washington, D.C., they're super happy with President Trump stepping in and keeping the Capitol safe. I've talked to many people. I've thought about going to Washington, D.C., but I've stayed away because of what I hear about the crime, the carjacking, people being mugged, robbed at gunpoint. I'm like, no, thanks. I'll cover this from my house. But they're now saying, yeah, you can walk the parks. You can go to the monuments and the museums. It's really, really amazing what they're actually getting done. And I think that, I don't know, I think we might see some people swinging their vote more conservative in the future. All right, now one of my favorite people to listen to is Victor Davis Hanson. He outlined last night that Trump's greatest accomplishment is actually the destruction of the Democrat Party. Nothing has damaged America more than Democrats. And he just walks you through why all of that is true. It's really amazing. Let's go ahead and listen to this together.
Donald Trump's greatest legacy, he broke the Democratic Party. And he exposed it for what it was. It was a bi-coastal elite party with a bunch of billionaires who spend lavishly and a bunch of subsidized poor and a professional class that feels frustrated. They make $200,000 and $300,000 a year, but they live in these blue cities that are very expensive and they can't buy their beautiful home. That's what the Mondami constituency is: frustrated young white professionals. And then they've lost the working class. It's not just they have lost the muscular classes, Hispanic muscular classes, black males, white. As I said before, if you look at 2016, 20, and 24, Donald Trump's white vote, it's pretty constant. And he did not win the popular vote in 2016 or 2020. And his voting, and yet he did win the popular vote and the Electoral College in 2024 with the same percentage and actual numbers of white voters. So what happened? He picked up some women, he picked up some young people, and he got 55% of Hispanic males, and he got about 25% of black males, and he picked up another 10 to 15% of Asian males. And how could that be if he was supposed to be a racist, according to the Democrats? It happened because they don't like, it's not that they're just people. They don't want to be talked to. Nobody wants to be talked to. And basically, this is a caricature, but the Democratic attitude toward a black truck driver or a Mexican-American electrician was something like this. Now, you don't know what's good for you, but those 10,000 people crossing the border every year every day, and the 2 to 3 million people that cross every year illegally in the Rio Grande Valley, they're going to be good for you. I don't care what you say about your schools being swamps, crime going up. They're good for you. Remember that. Now, men have a right to transition, and they are now women, and they're going to compete in your daughter's sports, and you don't know what's good for you because you're too ignorant. But I will represent you. I'm a black woman with a PhD. I'm a Hispanic woman that's your congresswoman. I am your white liberal Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, and I will tell you what is good for you. Got it? And then they'll say, you know what? You don't understand that gas at $5.50 a gallon is really good for you because the planet is heating up. And the new Green Deal is going to save you. Get some solar panels and get on the team. So they talk down sanctimoniously, and that was never clearer when Barack Obama confronted those black Democratic activist young men and said, basically, you don't know what you're doing. You think Donald Trump's good or something. You've got to get out there and support Harris. You're suffering basically from Marxist false consciousness. And as an elite, know what's good for you. And I will tell you, now go do it. That's what he basically said to them. For me, the locus classicus, the epitome of this is Pete Buttigieg. Everything about him represents what I just said. Sanctimonious, self-righteous, talk down. I know the answers. I know what's good for you. I am the transportation secretary. I don't think California is suffering from not enough freeways or it's too crowded. It's suffering from racist legacies of clover leaves.
I love that guy. I mean, he just is so good at walking you through the stupidity of Democrat leaders. And he's so right. Like everything that they tried to do, like a bunch of illegals is good for you. Why? My housing's up, my food costs is up, my gas is up. They're good for you. Men beating up women in women's sports is good for you. You having to compete for a house or an apartment, it's good for you. You having really expensive gas, we're sticking it to Vladimir Putin and we're healing the planet and it's good for you. Screw your wallet, screw your ideas, screw your wife, screw your children. That was their messaging. And people said, wait a minute, no, I want someone who not only fights for the things that I want. Trump was on the right side of 80% of issues for the average American, but he also gave you choice. You want an electric car? Have an electric car. You want a gas car? Have a gas car. You want a hybrid? Great. But you want cheap gas? We're going to give you cheap gas. Like, he just gave you options. That's what I love about President Trump, is he fought for most of the things that we care about. And he's just done so many incredible things. Now, one thing that HUD is doing that is getting some mixed feedback, and you'll have to let me know in the comments where you stand on this, but Trump's HUD director is recommending to President Trump a rule change where Section 8 housing will only be available to able-bodied Americans for 24 months. This means that if you are able to get a job and you're choosing not to, then you're not going to get housing that is paid for by the American taxpayer. So they're saying we're thinking about making this rule change where, again, if you're able to work, you can't be on Medicaid. If you're able to work, you can't be on Section 8 housing. So you're probably going to have to go through an interview, do a drug test. You're going to have to prove why you're unable to hold down a job. And those changes are coming as well. All right, final story that I want to share with you guys. The CDC is being sued for illegally pushing 72 doses of vaccines on children in America. They're saying, now that we know that there's very little testing with these vaccines, this is not good medicine, right? Like, there's no other medicine out there that gets to skip all of the steps that vaccines go through. Some of these, they only tested them for 5 days, and then they got some loser in Congress to approve it and give them billions of dollars. Also, there's never been any testing against non-vaccinated children and vaccinated children. There's also been no trials of vaccines being pushed at the same time as other vaccines, meaning what happens if we give chickenpox and hepatitis and MMR all at the same time? Or if we do whooping cough and hepatitis B at the same time? They've never done any of those testing. And so now the CDC is being sued, saying, this is not real science. This is not real medicine. These are our children, and we need to make sure that they are safe. All right, that's my update for today. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'll be on later with a huge interview that I think many of you are going to appreciate, as well as more news. I love you. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.